굿모닝입니다. TV 크루분들이 아니죠? 아직까지 여러분들의 이름을 못 정했습니다. 혹시 아이디어가 있으면 아래 댓글로 꼭꼭꼭 좀 남겨주세요. 오늘은 카르멘, 저희의 새 보금자리가 돼 카르멘을 살짝 투어해드리려고 합니다. 보시다시피 마스트는 지금 아직 안 꽂혀있는 상태고요. 저희 마스트는 저기 초록색 네일로 된, 아니지, 파란색 네일로 된 곳에 지금 보관이 되어 있습니다. 저거는 제가 이쪽 쭉 걸어가면서 나중에 보여드릴게요. 지금 여기 보면 스파이더 웹이 엄청 많습니다. 아담한테 들었는데 여기 덴마크에서 여기가 스테이가 면적당 스파이더가 제일 많은 곳이래요. 마크다. 여기 부분이 이제 앵커 라인 보관하는 데고, 여기는 위스커 폴을 보관하는 데라고 합니다. 그리고 해치를 지금 마크가 하고 있고요. 이거 페인트가 여러 번 겹이 되어 있더라고요. 나중에 벗게 되는데 차근차근 해보도록 하겠습니다. 여기 보면 솔로 패널도 달려 있어요. 솔로 패널 체크했는데 상태가 괜찮았고, 그리고 여기가 칵핏입니다. 정리를 해야 되지만 아직 해야 될 것들이 많기 때문에 정리는 아직 나중에 하는 걸로 하고, 이게 32피트입니다. 32피트면 위를 이렇게 큰 걸 잘 쓰진 않아요. 대부분 틸러라고 해서 이제 나무 지팡이, 막대기로 하는 틸러 시스템인데, 예전 이제 아담 전에 배 주인이 이거 윌로 시스템으로 바꾸고, 그리고 오토파일럿도 넣었다고 하더라고요. 그래서 약간 모던과 옛날 클래식한 것들이 다 조합이 되어 있는 요트입니다. 들어가 볼게요. 안에는 아직 뭐 해놓은 게 없기 때문에 설명드릴 수 있는 게 없긴 한데, 그 이유는 이 요트를 샀던 아담이 원래 이거 리핏을 하겠다고, 요트를 다시 좀 수리를 하겠다고 다 뜯어놓은 상태예요. 그러니까 저희한테는 좋죠. 저희도 어차피 손을 볼 거였기 때문에 저희한테 괜찮은데, 지금 뜯어놓은 상태여가지고 아직 좀 행합니다. 대신 안에 내부를 점점점 파악하긴 쉽죠. 들어보자마자 보이는 게 이게 주방입니다. 이거 우리 거네. 이렇게, 이것도 나중에 저희 나름대로 좀 바꿀 것 같아요. 여기가 싱크예요. 나 처음 열어본다 이거. 싱크고, 여기는 원래 와인하고 거는 것 같아요. 근데 저희는 와인을 잘 안 마시기 때문에 저건 나중에 수리를 할 것 같고, 이거 짐벌입니다. 요트에서 보이는 짐벌. 김벌. 근데 한국어로는 짐벌이라 해. 짐벌이요? 짐벌. 이렇게 움직이는 오븐과 가스 스토브가 들어가 있습니다. 저희 배는 일단은 컴패니언 웨이 들어오고 패시지 웨이 이렇게 들어오면 여기가 살롱입니다. 저희 요트는 한 몇 명 잘 수 있더라? 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 6명이 잘 수 있는 구조입니다. 어떻게 되냐면 여기 2명, 여기 1명, 그리고 비벌스에 2명 이렇게 잘 수 있고, 여기 보이는 게 How can I say the pilot berth? Right? Quarter berth 라고 해서 여기 부분에 침대가 원래 한 사람이 잘 수 있는 구조가 있어요. 근데 저희는 이걸 안 쓰고 스토리지 쓸 것 같고, 여기가 원래 내비게이션 스테이션이 있었던 곳입니다. 라디오라든지 이런 지도 놔두고 막 항로 정하는 항로 같은 거를 정하는 곳인데, 이 부분을 떼어냈어요, 아담이. 그래서 저희한테 좋습니다. 우리가 일 안 해야 되니까. 그리고 여기 보면 여기 스토리지도 있고, 여기 안에도 있고요. 여기도 똑같습니다. 이렇게 이쪽으로 오면 약간 나눠집니다. 그래서 고개를 숙여야 돼요. 여기에 보관하는 것들, 옷이라든지 수납하는 것이 있고, 여기에는 화장실입니다. 약간 찾아보니까 이게 레일이 있는데, 이게 원래 빼서 쓰는 싱크대가 있었던 것 같아요. 그래서 레일은 아직 보관이 되어 있기 때문에 이것도 한번 생각을 해봐야 될 것 같습니다. 그래서 이렇게 해놓으면 조금 화장실을 좀 길게 쓸 수 있지 않을까. 샤워가 없기 때문에 저희가 따로 샤워실을 만들어도 될 것 같아요. 이런 식으로. 여기는 지금 저희 스토리지로 쓰고 있습니다. 여기가 비버스입니다. 이렇게 메인 베드죠, 거의. 이렇게 하면 저희의 카르멘의 투어가 끝납니다. 되게 아담하죠? 이게 1970년도, 1974년도에 71년도에 만들어진 배이기 때문에 되게 요즘에 나온 요트랑은 되게 달라요. 보통 32피트 저희 정도 사이즈라고 하면 정말 크게 느껴지거든요. 근데 이게 좁게 느껴진 이유는 옛날에는 디자인을 정말 이렇게 좁게 했어요. 그 너비가 되게 좁게 해놨거든요. 왜냐면 옛날에는 안정성도 고려를 해야 하고, 그리고 거친 바다를 칼로 쓱쓱쓱 자르면서 가는 그런 걸 원했기 때문에 좁습니다. 그리고 무겁고요. 맞지? 우리 거 좀 무겁잖아. 저희가 32피트인데 4.5톤입니다. 드웍시니가 36피트 아이가. 36피트인데 36피트랑 32피트랑 중량이 같아요. 그럼 이렇게 끝인 것 같은데? 나중에 마스트 있는 거 보여드리면 될 것 같다. 마스트는 좀 특이합니다. 마스트도 그 전전 주인이 업그레이드를 시킨 것 같아요. 그래서 좀 다른 시스템이었고 보여드릴게요. 가서. 아 맞다. 여기 또 있네. 수납 공간. 이게 그거 디젤 탱크잖아. 퓨얼 탱크. 근데 반짝반짝한 거 보이시죠? 이것도 새로 넣었더라고요. 그리고 여기도 수납 공간인데 안 보여드리겠습니다. 왜냐면 너무 많은. 어? 뭐라고?
뒤에도.
아 뒤에도 있어? 여긴 못 봤네. 어머. 아 스파이더웹.
Spiderwebs everywhere.
I touched it. 아 여기도 있고.
And there's a swim ladder.
귀엽죠? 스위밍 레더. 이렇습니다. 저희의 요트의 카르멘의 모습입니다. 점점 바뀌겠죠. 이것저것 마크가 인스펙션하고 검사하고 어디를 손해봐야 될지 보고 있습니다. 제가 오늘 급하게 한국에 소식을 받아가지고 할머니가 돌아가셨다는 소식을 들었습니다. 그래서 이게 몇 시간 안 된 거라서 저 좀 약간 어벙벙하긴 한데 급하게 한국에 들어가겠어요. 내일 비행기를 끊어놨기 때문에 전 당분간 없을 거고 마크 혼자서 해야 됩니다. 그래서 이게 투어가 지금 제가 찍을 수 있는 마지막 영상이 될 것 같아요. 그럼 빠이. 잘 갈 수 있지. 3시간이나 어디 가는데 걸리잖아. 3주. 이렇게 꼬여지네. 이럴만해. 문짝이 들어가자마자. 암스테르담 도착해서 또 연락할게.
Okay. Bye. Okay, so let's go ahead and unbox this. This is going to be my best friend, I think, for the next 6 months to a year. It's a file sander. It's a little bit smaller than what I wanted, but better than not having anything at all. We're on a tight budget, so I can't afford to have like various sizes, so I think getting the smallest one will probably be the best. I also got some special sandpaper. Can't remember what this is called. It's some kind of zirconium sandpaper. Anyways, this will do a lot better with the fiberglass. So we are gonna go ahead and start working on this guy here. One of our priorities will be to step the mast. I think this is gonna be a problem being right here and the mast step is right here. So let's go ahead and get this hole fixed. But we have this little problem here. So to get into these edges here, I need to grind all of this back, and I cannot do it with this in the way. I need to put in a new core, which is this material here. I need to cut this out and make sure it fits just perfectly in here. It'll be glued into place with some thickened epoxy, and then I will put a scarf. You can see once I get to here and here, it's impossible to scarf it. So in order to finish the repair, I'll need to take this section out. I'm not too bothered by this because we're gonna have to redo this top section of this bulkhead. This is probably the most important bulkhead in the boat. Along there, you can see the tabbing has come loose right here. Over here too, you can see it's coming loose. Oh, here's really him. There's a huge chunk there. So this whole bulkhead will need to be serviced, but because of our limited time for right now, I'm just gonna repair the big hole up here. And later on, when I have time, I will go ahead and redo this whole bulkhead. I don't know if I'll replace the whole thing, but something definitely needs to be done. Most likely, I will just cut out sections and glue back in pieces that need to be replaced, but make sure that it fits properly so that I can tab it in, and it will finally be a strong structural part of the boat. Right now it's just kind of a floating island in the middle of the boat. Later on, there's another soft spot right here, about the same size. You can see I've marked it off some X's here. This stuff here, I don't know if you can see, but I can just dig it out with my fingers. It's just, all this wood is rotten here. So this core all has to be replaced as well. You can see the tabbing that used to be here is all gone, and there's a ton of water damage here. Over here as well. So all of this is quite bad, but I really don't want to tear apart too much before we get to the UK. It's like anything when you do these kind of projects, you start working on one thing and then you discover something else. We are on a timeline to get out of Denmark, so we're gonna leave this alone. I think it'll hold up just fine, at least until we get to the UK. So I am cleaning off the rest of the stuff that's in here. I've got to get all these extra bits off. Then I have to sand it, clean it really well with some acetone, and then it will be ready for the new core to go in. There's the bit of dust flying around, so I think I better... Unfortunately, I just spotted a problem here. You can see that this piece of fiberglass is shaped in these kind of curves. These ridges, what they do is they give it kind of a more stiffness to the shape of the boat. On this section here, he cut away all of that ridge all the way, and then it starts to come back a little bit here, and then you can see it again here. So I think what I'll have to do is I'll have to try to build this back up or add something there to re-stiffen that section. Usually when boat designers design these kind of things, they're designed for a purpose. So we'll have to figure out a way to put that one back in. Okay, so I cleaned it up quite a bit. This where is it? This guy here doesn't do a thing. So with the vacuum, we're able to keep the mess to a minimum. Now I gotta take this section out. I want to try to save this frame. I'm going to go ahead and use a multi-tool to try to cut right above the top of this frame. See how that goes. All right, one of the important things we've learned over doing several builds is the better your tools, the better job you'll do, the faster you can work. So in this case, more cheap tools, because we're on a really tight budget. We got this for like 20 euros, but I think it'll do the job. Okay, so early day problems. These guys are flatheads, and all I have are Phillips. I checked my toolboxes, so probably in the van someplace. But that's kind of what happens when you have like two different locations. I got the boat and I have the van. Some tools are still in the van, so yeah, I'm gonna run into these problems the first few days, but I will pull this off tomorrow. It's just about ready to come off. Then I can sand the rest of this, prepare this edge here, scarf these edges, and put in the new core, fiberglass it over. In the meantime, I have to order some stuff, so it'll be a good time for me to take some more measurements. Okay, ever since we've been on this boat, this lifeline has not been attached because the clevis pin won't quite reach over here. It's not a big deal. You can fix that easily, but what I noticed when I was working on it is that this boat's actually missing a lot of them. This one is held together by 3 zip ties, and this one is just 1 zip tie. So we gotta order some new pins. You can see what it should look like. There's the clevis pin there with a cotter ring on the outside. So I gotta order some new pins in. I think though the pins will work much better than zip ties for our safety anyways. Diameter is on the flathead. Alright, the sun's come out. I gotta start sanding fiberglass soon, so put on the monkey suit. Alright, we got this out of here. Now I can access these areas here. Okay, I finished prepping this area. You can see I've got my scarf going all the way around. I wiped it down with acetone. When I did that, I forgot to change the filters. I still have this kind of dust filter on. So yeah, I got a lump full of acetone right now. I wanted to put the new core in there, but what I realized is I don't have anything to cut it with, and I can easily cut this with, what do you call it, a utility knife. So I've got one in the van. I'm out of water as well. Whew, some fresh air. So it's probably good timing to go back to the van and take a short break, get some water, and then when I come back I'll record the coach roof. Oh. I'm back and I got a knife, but I realize I need to mix the epoxy, and I've got nothing to mix it in, no cups. Just curious how much time I waste every time I forget something. So there is Carmen right there, and I don't know if you can see, but right there is Tubi. So if I could walk on water, it would take like 5 minutes. Unfortunately, I've got to go around like this. All right, we're back. So I walk pretty fast, and you can see I waste about 8 minutes, 21 seconds every time I forget something, each way. Found them. All right. I cut the cord size. Let's see if this is long enough. Wow. You gotta be kidding. That's what you call lucky, huh? Okay, I have the new cord, dry fit. Looks pretty good. The level is not bad. Here you can see it's a little bit high. Here matches perfectly. Matches perfectly. Here a little bit high, perfectly. And then this is where I have to rebuild this edge. You see some gaps here. That's not a big deal. If it's too big, I'll put a little bit of core material in there, but most likely I'll just fill this with the thickened epoxy. The only thing I'm concerned about is there is a bit of a sag here in the middle. This time I'm protecting up because last time I inhaled a ton of acetone. Plastic on the floor. I don't know if we're going to use these floorboards again, but just in case, better to be safe. And made a little work area here too. I've got the resin, epoxy, and slow hardener. It's supposed to be a 3-to-1 mix, but I'm going to do it by weight. First what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush on some epoxy. After that I will brush on some epoxy onto this guy too. And then I will put some thickened epoxy onto that surface there. And the reason I'm using thickened epoxy is because I don't feel like it's going to hold very well without some kind of thickened epoxy to act as a glue. And also that surface isn't perfectly flat, so it will help fill up any of the little gaps and unevenness in the surface. This stuff's really bad for you, so if you're going to use it, make sure you have the rest of more of this. You can see it's kind of like thick honey now. It was sagging in so many places. Yeah, I think I was a bit naive to think that this thickened epoxy could hold even the weight of this foam up here. Well, with a weight of 300 grams of resin and hardener, yeah, it becomes so much heavier. Luckily, I had these sticks. I don't know where they came from, but they were already on the boat. So I taped them together to create braces. And they seem to be holding everything on pretty well. I cleaned up most of the squeeze out that already came out, but I was hoping to get more actually than this. So I'm not really super confident that I did a good job here, but one thing I think is for sure, if I do any repairs in the future, I'm not going to do this repair from the inside like Adam started to do. I think it has its merits, but I mean, I guess I'll have to do some more research on it, but I cannot see an easy way to do something like this without, something like vacuum equipment or something like that. I guess I could do it, but I just need to be way, way more prepared. Like I need to have these kind of braces that go from the floor to the roof. For right now, it's holding, and I think there's no more drips are coming out. Still a couple I gotta clean up, but yeah, for right now, I think it's okay. Thing is, I still have to put fiberglass over this. I have no idea how that's gonna go.
맞아, 거꾸로 매달려 일하는 게 보통 일이 아니라고 했었잖아. 마크 진짜 고생했어. 우리 카라멜에서의 영광스런 첫 맥주는 내가 기꺼이 양보할게.
So I think Adam felt sorry for me that I'm by myself.
Or maybe I needed a break,
Yeah, there
maybe
you go.
from changing diapers and just have a couple hours off.
So that was your excuse then.
Yeah, so we're going to a local pub,
Yeah,
try and have a beer.
first pub in 2 years for me, so this should be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, Denmark pub. Let's see what it's like. So, what's that about? Cool. Free beer is the best beer. Cheers.
I thought I was.
So guys, we're back on Adam's boat because, well, Adam, why are we on your boat right now?
Well, the pub, I guess they had like last call at like 8:30 or something.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's a Thursday, so okay, fair enough. But
Yeah,
we
but
were a
still,
little taking it back.
8:30 last call.
So now we're here. We're just gonna exchange these
This
warm
way-
beers for cold beers.
This is way better, anyways. Boat beats the bar. Anyway.
We have a bit of you here for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Good afternoon, guys. Truth be told, we're starting quite late today, but now we're back at the boat and I'm a little bit nervous. The reason why I'm nervous is because yesterday I was going over some of the numbers. Let me just get back on the boat here real quick. Okay, so yesterday I was getting more familiar with the website that I use to do the calculations for the epoxy, and I realized something, that the numbers I used was for the hung epoxy. If you know about resins and epoxy, you know the most important thing is that you get your ratios right. It's just basic chemistry. If you screw that up, doesn't matter about all the rest of the work, the epoxy is not going to set. Yeah, so I looked over the footage and I realized that while I was pouring in the epoxy, the phone screen went black. So I opened the screen back up, and what I didn't realize when it opened up, it must have refreshed, and the default epoxy is not the epoxy I'm using, and I didn't realize that it had reverted back to the default epoxy. So in the end, it looks like I probably put in about 10 to 15% less hardener than I should have. So there's a very good chance that all the work I did yesterday has gone down the drain. If that epoxy has not set, it's never ever gonna set. So the only thing I can do is tear everything out, clean it up, and start all over again. The cup that I mixed the epoxy in, if that has set, then there's a good chance that the epoxy work has set. If that has not set, then yeah, it's bad news for me. Let's go in and check. Oh, it's hot in here. That's kind of good because this epoxy needs to be a little bit warm to set properly. All right. So here's the work that I did yesterday. Looks like most of the braces stayed in place. One guy fell down. Well, this guy was right here. That kind of sucks, but okay. Let's get some air circulating in here. All right, here's the moment of truth. This is the cup that I used yesterday. Oh, I'm afraid to even check, to be honest with you, but it's got to be done. Oh. Ooh. It's hard. Thank God. That means, oh yeah, I can feel it. Some of the thicker stuff is still, like right here. Yeah, no, even that's set. Yeah, it's set. Let's go ahead and start taking these guys off. I'm just seeing if there's any loose parts. I didn't get laminated properly. If I can feel any areas where it's springy, that means that section didn't get glued to the coach roof. But especially on these edges is where I'm worried about the most. But as far as I can see, it's like everything glued up in place. If that scare is past, the next project will be to glass this over. So we'll put fiberglass layers over this. But before we can do that, we need to do a little more prep. You can see here, I filled in some of the bigger gaps with little strips of core material. Here too, some more over here. This little piece I gotta cut off. But you can see there's still little gaps here and there. And so all of those will have to be filled with thickened epoxy. And the next thing I need to do is this shape here. I need to sand this down so that when I lay the glass over, that I can get this shape back again to the original design. As far as the level, okay, I just felt my first area of right here. You see that? That didn't glue in place, so I'm gonna have to tear this part out and re-glue that one in as well. As far as the level, you can see that it's the level is pretty good. Some of these areas here where the epoxy kind of spilled over, I'm gonna have to sand a bit as well. There's a couple mistakes I made last night. To be fair, I haven't worked with epoxy or any of this stuff for like 20 years. Mistake number one, I used too big of a piece for working upside down like this. This is really the first time I've ever done a project like this. Well, it's the first time I've ever worked on a boat core, but I've done epoxy work and fiberglass work before in the past. And this is the first time I've done it upside down. And I learned some valuable lessons. Number one, no matter how much glue or stuff you use, a piece this big, it's like, I don't know, maybe a little less than a meter long, is too big to put in as one piece. What I should have done is I should have cut it into 3 or 4 pieces and put each smaller section up. The second mistake I made was I made the epoxy way too thin. I thought I had thickened it up pretty well, but really it needed to be like a peanut butter thickness, so much thicker than what I had done yesterday. The reason why I didn't go as thick was because as I was pre-wetting this PET core, I noticed it was really soaking up a lot of resin. So I was worried that if I made it too dry, it would soak up too much of the resin out of the thickening ingredients. But yeah, that was a mistake. I should have gone with a thicker mixture. The reason why is because in certain spots it was actually dripping out. You can imagine, like right now it's much hotter because the sun's hitting the deck. That stuff would have dripped all over the place if it was being done right now. So you want it so thick that it doesn't even have a chance to drip. So that was the second mistake I made. But you know, it's going to be a learning experience. A lot of this stuff I'm doing for the first time. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm happy with the job. The small imperfections can be easily fixed.
I wanna say something, but you are all that I see. You got dynamite.
Yeah, you can see there's epoxy here, but it did not glue to the top.
Can I have it for free? An explosion. That's not gonna be the end of me. I wanna say something, but you are all that I see. You got dynamite. That smile's gonna be the end of me. I bet it tastes like chocolate. Can I have it for free? I'm an explosion. That smile's gonna be the end of me. That smile's gonna be the
Figured out why
end
this
of me.
didn't glue here, because there's actually, you can't really see it, there's a little lip here that's part of the shape of the coach roof, but just a little tiny lip. So it couldn't sit flush in this area, and then it flattens out here. And up here it's flat, but just right here. Now you can see that it sits flush, and in order to do that, I had to kind of curve this end a little bit, but it should work. All right, this is the calculator I was telling you about, and we need this clear all-arounder. So today we're gonna measure maybe about 100 grams. Let's go 100. And it says 78 grams of resin, 22 grams of hardener. Okay, that's pretty close. That's 77. Now, 22 grams of hardener. 6. Let's give this guy a stir. I'm going to put the thickening agent in, but first I want to give it a nice stir first. Get it as mixed up as possible. Alright, I think that's good enough. So, I'm just going to see if I can spread on here like peanut butter or jam. Yeah, it's kind of working. I'm going to glue this in here again with thickened epoxy just like last time. Alright, that one's ready to go. Put that one down. Now we're going to add the fillers in here. I'm going to get my mask on because I'm going to be putting on the colloidal silica, which I do not want to inhale.
This stuff is like so fine. And you do not want to breathe this stuff in. This one is much kinder to breathe in. But I still don't want to breathe this in. It's just basically, I think this one's like cotton fibers. I'm not sure, but I think it's cotton fibers. Sometimes they use wood fibers. And as you can see up there, the silica flying everywhere right now. This is why it's so risky. I don't want her anywhere near this stuff. I need a lot more. This is the consistency I had yesterday. Today I want to go a lot more thicker than this. Today I'll go get some copper spoons or something to measure this out properly. This is not really great. What I want to do is I want to spread this out so that it's not so thick. Otherwise, it'll kick out really fast. And there you go, guys. That's what we want. Got some staying on there. It's not kicking off anymore. Alright, got a piece down here. See how it's squeezing out the sides? That's exactly what I want. I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to cover up the rest of this stuff. You gotta go over it several times to really push it in. If I had this consistency yesterday, it would have been so much easier. And spread it out so that it cools down a little bit. So we got this piece back in, and since I was mixing thickened epoxy, I went ahead and filled all of these sides here, and over here too, a little bit here. This side still needs to be shaped, so I'll have to do that one later again. I filled in these gaps in here, so almost ready. Just let this harden up for about an hour or so, and then I'll go ahead and shave this side down to the proper shape. And then we'll go ahead and start glassing.
Temperature in the boat right now is 30 degrees. Wow. Super hot. This boat has zero insulation, so right now the sun's hitting and yeah, I can feel the heat. All right, we finished sanding it and shaping it. So I put this on to make a template. We'll trace this out and we'll put this over on top of the fiberglass and cut out the pieces we need to finish this job. Last time I made the mistake of trying to cut this huge piece in here, and it was just too much weight. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the fiberglass into smaller sections and just overlap them like this. Okay, so that plan's not going to work because this fiberglass is the longest piece I think I have. Yeah, it's the longest piece I have. So this is only 25 centimeters. So yeah, that's as far as it's going to go. So I'm going to have to break it into 4 sections. Go, there's one. Two, 34, 35, and 1, oh, 111. Okay, before I put this on here, I'm gonna paint a little bit on the area that I'm gonna be attaching this to. Oh, doing this upside down sucks. The reason why I've got to pre-wet this is if I don't do this, this foam can suck out the epoxy from the fiberglass, and also it will just help the fiberglass to stick on here a little bit better than if I were to just place it on here on the dry surface. So it's really good to do this first. I know I don't have enough epoxy, but I just want to mix just enough, because if I mix too much it'll go hard faster. The more you have in this cup, the faster the epoxy will get hard. So better just put just enough to do a few sheets or a couple sheets. That way you don't get the epoxy going hard, you don't waste it. I should use the bigger brush. If you've ever seen epoxy work, you've probably seen people use the thin roller. I'm not going to use the thin roller because I'm working upside down. I can already just pull off the glass. So instead I'm just going to pour it on top here a little bit and use the squeegee. Normally I put some on the bottom too, but I think this glass is so porous that it should go in there no problem. Yeah, I think on the next batch I'm going to go ahead and put it on the plastic first before I squeegee it on. I was thinking this stuff looks so porous it would just go right through, but it's taking more work than I thought. Okay, so it's pretty weathered out, so we'll go ahead and transfer this one up. Alright, I got the first one up, but my hands were too epoxy. I couldn't pick up the camera. So I'm going to, for you guys, change my gloves so I can move the camera around. And it's starting to get really hot in here too, so my hands are too sweaty. You can see the first piece is already up. Alright. Definitely not easy or graceful, but eventually get it on there. And I was using a squeegee earlier, but what I realized is hands are much more effective. when you're working upside down like this. Alright, there we go. And just use the hands to get all the bubbles out. There we go. And it's working just perfectly. So far so good. Gotta mix up some more epoxy. I'm just gonna leave this camera on because it's just too hard to move it. That is perfect. All right. Okay. Main camera died. I don't know when exactly it died, but we're finished. Yeah, it was quite a nightmare. Working with everything above your head like this is don't recommend it. I don't know, maybe there's an easier way. I'll have to do some research, but I put the peel ply on because I was planning on doing at least 2 layers today, but I was only able to get the 1 layer on. This epoxy is supposed to be good for 4 days, but that's at 20 degrees, and today it's supposed to get up to 26 outside, so that means in the boat it's gonna be 30. The epoxy is kicking off too fast, so I just put the peel ply on there, but I think that might have been a mistake because you can see it's the weight of the peel ply is like pulling even more on the fiberglass, so I think it probably would have been better just to leave it bare. I might have some problems, especially on these edges when I come here tomorrow. I did my best to cut off all the excess because I could see how much it was really pulling on these edges. But anyways, I'll deal with that problem tomorrow. One good thing I did was to cut it into sections because just that one small quarter of a section was really hard to get to stick there. Yeah, I can imagine if I would have done the whole piece, it would have been a disaster. Even if I just cut it in half, it would have been a disaster. So I think the quarter pieces was just about as big as I could handle on my own. Anyways, first layer's done.
근데 작업하면은 되겠네요.